What's up, guys? It's been a long time since my last video. I just started a new job and I am still adapting to the schedule, but hopefully from here on I'll be able to put out videos regularly. That being said, I have found plenty of time to play Shadow of the Erdtree virtually all of my free time that I'm not at work. I've enjoyed the hell out of it. I just started on my second character. I was able to finish all but the final boss before they made the rebalancing patch that made the Erdtree blessings worth more overall damage negation, which was a completely unnecessary patch. The game was not too hard. All you have to do is engage with the mechanics as they're intended. I don't understand people like Asmongold. It is so crazy, and I wish they would actually bring it back. I've started a new character. I don't know if it's because it's a different build. I'm starting with a faith character instead of an intelligence character with my first playthrough of the DLC, but it does feel a hell of a lot easier. I don't know if numerically it pans out, but from just feel alone, it feels like the game is a hell of a lot easier, and I wish that it had the same difficulty as when I first dropped into the Shadow realm. I mean, I'm not even a professional gamer. I don't get paid to sit around, play games, and have bad takes like Asmongold. His opinion should not carry that much weight, he and all the other crybabies out there, because the game was fine the way it was. But anyway, that's not the subject of the video. We're here to talk about what this latest patch has done. And that is break every single IGN build that the game has right now. There were a handful of popularly known exploits that were being abused by the Elden Ring audience. Probably the most notable, at least in PvP, is the Ash of War Swift Slash. And of course, that's the number one thing listed in the patch notes. They decreased the damage and damage animation of the shearing vacuum effect of this Ash of War. Another popularly known bug was the rolling spark skill. Prior to this patch, what you could do is aim the skill at the ground. That way, all of the explosions that were supposed to go off in a rolling fashion would go off all in the same spot, and people were melting bosses in one shot with this skill. Now that has been patched. The exploit I was personally abusing for PvE for the final boss was the thrusting shield. The fact that if you blocked with the thrusting shield, you would take little to no stamina damage. Meaning you could just sit there and tank, hold down the block, and continue thrusting right in front of a boss without ever losing your stamina. This has now been patched out as well. The Blood Fiend's arm. Turns out that the scaling for the status effects whenever you make it a bleed weapon was off too. You could just use one heavy attack and proc bleed with it. That has been patched out. And everyone's favorite sword, the Fire Knight's Great Sword, it was actually bugged. Now that's pretty much every weapon and skill exploit that all of the players were abusing both in PvP and PvE. So unfortunately, IGN, there goes all your build ideas. They've all been patched out. Now there are a few other notable bug fixes in here, but I think those are going to be the ones that stand out the most, especially because these were the ones that were most widely being used and popularized among the Elden Ring fanbase. Out of the remaining bug fixes, I think two of the ones that I feel are the most important are the changed placement of the Golden Hippopotamus and Commander Gaius in the refights. In the refights, they were closer to the fog wall and charged. Now, the way I dealt with this was just by using the Raptors in the Mist Ash of War to completely avoid the charge attack. But now I feel like other strategies are useful now because you don't have to worry about that initial attack. The placement is going to be the same as the first fight. That way you can avoid the first charge and maybe implement other strategies, but the way I dealt with the refights was just by using that particular Ash of War because it was the only thing I could think of to do to avoid taking damage. And they fixed my girl Black Knife Tish. I thought I might have been dreaming things, but every time I used her, bosses seemed to heal themselves, and I turned to the Mimic tier whenever I used dashes. But it turns out that it was bugged. Whenever her HP reduction skills wore off, the boss would regain HP. I thought I might have been imagining things, but it turns out that it was true, so now I can go back to using one of my favorite Spirit Ashes. And if you're a PC player like me, the inappropriate activity detected has been fixed. I got that the first time I co-opted with somebody in the DLC. I got that message, inappropriate activity, when there is no cheating going on, but that has been fixed, thankfully. These particular bug fixes, I believe, are the most notable parts of the patch notes. And it is great that they're actually paying attention, because these are pretty much all of the largest exploits, all of the most popular exploits, so they are paying attention and they're fixing it. It's great to see, folks. Since they are listening and paying attention, I hope more people like me will stand up and start talking about the difficulty, because they acted way too quickly on that. I think the review bombs might have pushed them over the edge to make a decision to do something different with the difficulty, but this is Elden Ring, this is Dark Souls, this is From Software. It's the way it should be. The DLC should be harder. I don't understand the scattered tree fragments evened it out. It made the game feel just like late game Elden Ring, the base game. But like I said, for some reason, I don't know if numerically it justifies it, but to me personally, the feel of the game is much easier than it was prior to the balancing patch. That's just my 2 cents, folks. But hopefully I'm going to be back and continue to make videos on a regular basis for you. Please give me a like and a subscribe, and y'all have a great day. Peace.